This wasn't just any star, it was Epsilon Aurigae, a celestial titan that had long been studied and admired from afar. Now, it was a cosmic spectacle of destruction and hope. Commander Cade Harrow stood on the observation deck of the Celestial Vanguard, humanity's most advanced exploration vessel. The star's dying breaths were displayed in all their terrifying glory on the reinforced viewport. Beside him, Dr. Mira Lorne, the ship's chief astrophysicist, adjusted her holopad, her brow furrowed in concentration. "The course collapse is accelerating," Mira said, her voice tinged with both awe and concern. "If my calculations are correct, we've got less than a week before it goes supernova." Cade's jaw tightened. "And the fragments? Do we have confirmation they're stable enough to retrieve?" Mira hesitated. "Stable is relative. The gravitational flux near the core makes precise readings difficult, but the fragments themselves should survive the explosion. If we can get to them before the detonation, they'll be the key to understanding the mechanics of stellar death." The fragments, pieces of crystallized matter forged in the heart of the star, were priceless. Not just for their scientific value, but for what they could mean for humanity's future. It was theorized that these remnants held the secrets to generating nearly limitless energy. The risk of approaching a collapsing star was enormous, but the potential rewards were too great to ignore. "Prepare a retrieval team," Cade ordered. "We'll send the Astrolancer into the debris field. Keep me updated on the star's condition." Mira nodded, already walking toward the lab to finalize her models. Cade remained on the observation deck for a moment longer, his gaze fixed on the tumultuous star. It was beautiful, in a way that defied words. A reminder of the vast, untamed power of the universe. The Astrolancer, a smaller and more agile craft, detached from the Celestial Vanguard with a low hum. On board were Lieutenant Elena Voss, pilot extraordinaire, Dr. Caleb Thorne, a xenogeologist with a passion for the unknown, and Ensign Eric Dren, a fresh-faced recruit eager to prove himself. "All systems green," Elena reported, her hands gliding over the controls with practiced ease. Approaching the debris field in 3 minutes, Caleb leaned forward, peering at the display. The debris field was a chaotic storm of rocks, plasma streams, and fragments of a star's outer layers. "We'll need to be careful. The electromagnetic interference is going to wreak havoc on our sensors." Elena smirked. "Good thing I've got nerves of steel." Eric swallowed hard, gripping his harness. "Let's hope that's enough." As they entered the debris field, the turbulence was immediate. The Astrolancer rocked violently, but Elena's expert piloting kept them on course. Caleb monitored the readouts, his brow creased with concentration. "I've got a visual on the fragments," Caleb announced. 3 of them, approximately 2 kilometers from our position. "They're emitting a faint energy signature." Elena adjusted the ship's trajectory. "Hold on. This is going to get bumpy." The Astrolancer weaved through the chaos, dodging chunks of molten rock and bursts of plasma. Each fragment was a jagged shard of iridescent material, glowing faintly against the backdrop of the dying star. They were larger than expected, each one roughly the size of a small building. "Energy readings are off the charts," Caleb said, his voice laced with excitement. "This is it. These fragments are saturated with exotic particles. If we can harness this—" "Focus on retrieval first," Elena interrupted. "I'm bringing us in." The ship's robotic arms extended, equipped with precision grapplers designed for delicate operations. Caleb guided the process, his eyes glued to the monitors. "Careful," he murmured. "The gravitational pull is fluctuating." The first fragment was secured without incident, its surface shimmering as it was brought aboard. The second was trickier, its erratic movements requiring Elena to make constant adjustments. By the time they reached the third, the star's instability was becoming more apparent. "Core activity is spiking," Caleb warned. "We need to hurry." Elena clenched her jaw, maneuvering the ship into position. The robotic arm reached for the fragment, its claws closing around the glowing shard. Just as it was secured, a massive shockwave rippled through the debris field. "Brace for impact," Elena shouted. The Astrolancer was thrown into a violent spin. Alarms blared as the crew struggled to stabilize the ship. Elena fought the controls, her knuckles white. "We're losing altitude," Eric said, panic creeping into his voice. "Not on my watch," Elena growled. With a final, desperate effort, she righted the ship. The Astrolancer shot out of the debris field, the fragments safely secured in its hold. Back aboard the Celestial Vanguard, the fragments were transferred to the research lab. Mira and her team immediately set to work, analyzing the exotic matter. The glow of the fragments seemed to pulse in response to their presence, as if alive. "These particles are unlike anything we've encountered," Mira said, her voice trembling with excitement. "They're reactive, almost sentient." Cade watched from the observation window, his expression unreadable. "What's the potential?" Mira turned to face him. "If we can stabilize these particles, they could revolutionize energy production." We're talking about a power source that could sustain entire civilizations for millennia. Cade's gaze shifted to the fragments. And the risks? Mira hesitated. The particles are highly unstable. If mishandled, the resulting energy release could be catastrophic. Cade nodded. Proceed with caution. I don't want any accidents. As the team worked, the Celestial Vanguard maintained its orbit around the dying star. The crew's initial exhilaration was tempered by the growing instability of Epsilon Aurigae. Every sensor on the ship monitored the star's condition, each fluctuation a reminder of the impending supernova. Then, without warning, the fragments began to pulse more intensely. Myra's instruments lit up with erratic readings. What's happening? Cade demanded, stepping into the lab. I don't know, Mira admitted. The fragments are reacting to something. It's as if they're communicating. The pulsing grew faster, and a low hum filled the air. Suddenly, a holographic projection erupted from the largest fragment. The image of an alien being materialized, its form indistinct but undeniably intelligent. Intruders, the being's voice echoed, resonating in the minds of everyone present. You meddle with forces beyond your understanding. Cade stepped forward. We mean no harm. We seek only to learn. The being's gaze seemed to pierce through him. These fragments are the remnants of our civilization, our legacy. To misuse them is to invite destruction. Myra's voice was barely a whisper. It's a warning. Cade's mind raced. The mission had just become far more complicated. Balancing the potential benefits of the fragments with the risks of defying an advanced, ancient civilization was a decision no one was prepared to make. The hologram flickered, its final words hanging in the air. Prove your worth, or perish. As the image vanished, the star's core emitted a blinding burst of light. Time was running out, and the fate of the mission and possibly humanity hung in the balance.